welcome to our podcast. We will dive into the lives of the world's most inspiring leaders. I am Priya, your host today, and I am joined by my wonderful friends Kareem, Lisan, Mujtaba, and Foyej. We will be talking about none other than the legendary Nelson Mandela, a man whose life has inspired millions around the world. From his early life to his fight for justice, his presidency, and beyond, we will cover it all. Each of my friends will share different aspects of his incredible journey. Let's get started. Okay, Kareem, why don't you kick things off by telling us about Nelson Mandela's early life?
Thanks, Priya. My name is Kareem. I'm here to talk about the early life of Nelson Mandela. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was born on the 18th of July 1918 in the small village of Umzezo in South Africa. His early life was shaped by rural traditions and his family rose in the Tembo royal house. His father was a local chief and his upbringing was shaped by upbringing gave him a strong sense of leadership and responsibility. After his father's death, Mandela moved to a larger village where he became the first in his family to attend school. He was given the name Nelson by a school teacher. Later, he attended Fordham University where his passion was politics and activities began to grow. He became involved in student protests, but it wasn't until he moved to Johannesburg that his journey toward fighting apartheid really took shape. His early years laid in foundation for his later works as a voluntary leader.
Wow, it's amazing how his upbringing and education played such an important role in shaping him. Now, listen, could you tell us more about his involvement in the anti apartheid movement and his time in prison?
Hello guys, this is Lisan. Sure, Priya. Mandela's involvement in anti-apartheid movement truly defines his legacy. In the 1940s, he joined the African National Congress, where he worked tirelessly to end the oppressive and racial segregation in South Africa. In 1961, Mandela co-founded the arm of the wing ANC known as Umkhonto weSizwe, which carried out acts of sabotage against the apartheid regime. In 1962, he was arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment for his activism. Mandela spent 27 years in prison, most of which were at Robben Island, a brutal and isolated prison off the coast of Cape Town. Despite the harsh conditions, Mandela's spirit remained unbroken. He used his time in prison to continue educating himself and others. His letters from prison inspired people both inside and outside South Africa to continue the struggle. Finally, in 1990, Mandela was released. His release marked the beginning of the end apartheid and the dawn of a new democratic South Africa.
It's incredible how, even from behind bars, Mandela was able to inspire change. Mujtaba, you are up next. Tell us about his presidency.
Thanks, Priya. After his release in 1990, Nelson Mandela became a symbol of hope and unity for South Africa. In 1994, the country held its first democratic elections and Mandela became South Africa's first black president. It was a historic moment and not just for South Africa but for the world. During his presidency, Mandela prioritized reconciliation between the black majority and the white minority. One of his most famous initiatives was the creation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which sought to heal the nation by addressing the human rights abuses committed during apartheid. His leadership was defined by forgiveness and unity. Despite the enormous challenges he faced in transitioning South Africa into a more equal society. Through Mandela only served one term as president, his impact was felt globally. His presidency was a testament to his belief in democracy, peace, and the power of forgiveness.
Thank you, Mujtaba. Mandela's presidency was truly transformative. And of course, it wasn't just his presidency that garnered worldwide recognition. Foyej tell us about the awards and honors Mandela received, especially the Nobel Peace Prize.
Absolutely, Priya. Nelson Mandela's contribution to peace and justice were recognized internationally. In 1993, he was awarded the Nobel Prize alongside South African President F.W.K. de Klerk for their efforts to dismantle apartheid and promote peaceful negotiations for democratic South Africa. But the Nobel Peace Prize was just one of many honors Mandela received throughout his life. He was awarded over 250 honors, including US Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilization award. Mandela's legacy as a leader for human rights and justice earned him a place in history as one of the greatest peacemakers of all.
Tajul, Mandela's bravery is one of the most defining aspects of his legacy. Can you share your thoughts on that?
Of course, Nelson Mandela's bravery was not just in his physical actions, but in his unwavering moral courage. It takes immense bravery to stand up against an anti-system designed to oppress. He was willing to risk in his life and freedom to stand for what he believed in. Even when he was on trial and faced a death of penalty, he famously said, "I have fought against white free dominations, and I have fought against black dominations. I have crushed the ideal of democratic and free society. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." That to me sums up his courage. He was always prepared to sacrifice himself for the greater good. His bravery was quite but unshakable, and it's something we can all learn from.
Mandela retired from public life in 2004, famously saying, "Don't call me, I will call you," in his humorous way. He spent his final years quietly with his family, but his influence never faded. Sadly, Nelson Mandela passed away on December 5, 2013, at the age of 95. His death was mourned worldwide, but his legacy lives on. To this day, Mandela remains a symbol of courage, justice, and the power of forgiveness. And that brings us to the end of today's podcast. Thank you so much to Kareem, Lisan, Mujtaba, and Foyej for joining me to the discussion, The Incredible Life of Nelson Mandela. His journey from a small village in South Africa to the world stage is one of the most inspiring stories in history. We hope today's podcast inspire you to learn more about Mandela's life and to carry forward his message to equality, peace, and justice. Thank you for today.